We are in a gan. A gan is a garden. In a gan, you would find olive trees, and there's some olive trees right here. The olives are getting ready for harvest. You'd find a fig tree. Fig tree is the king of the trees. But you also find grapevines. And that's what these are. These are grapevines. There were two ways in the ancient period in which they would cultivate grapes. One, they would run their grapevines up their trellis. But there's another way, and this is the ancient way, and I can only show this to you in Jordan. I can't show this to you in Israel. John chapter 15, Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches, and my Father is He's the gardener. So what's the Greek word there? The Greek word for gardener is georgos. Georgos, yes, it's where my name comes from, George. A georgos is a tiller of soil. So, Jesus is saying, my Father is the tiller of soil, I am the vine, and you are the branches. Now what's interesting is if you push that metaphor a little bit farther, then who's the root? Well, if God's the gardener, and Jesus is the vine, and you and I are the branches, it seems to me the root is Israel. Jesus is the vine, and out of him come branches. Then he says, any branch that doesn't bear fruit, he cuts off. The word there that's translated as cut off is Airo. Airo doesn't mean cut off, it means to lift up. But it doesn't make sense with the other vineyard picture, but in this vineyard picture, it makes all the sense in the world. If the branches touch the earth a certain way, they'll start to send out their own roots, and they'll use all of their energy to start their own roots. I am the vine, you are the branches, and my Father is the gardener. And any time a branch begins to take root, he doesn't cut it off. Any branch that doesn't produce fruit, he lifts up. And when you look around here, what the gardener will do is when a branch begins to set root, he'll put a stone underneath it and he'll lift it up. I can't tell you how strong this is in terms of how we treat each other. When somebody begins to move outside of our fellowships, outside the church, and starts to set down their own roots, the last thing you want to do is cut them off. Because that's where the fruit is. No, you want to lift them up. Now you can do your own midrash. You can interpret that any way you want. Do you lift them up in prayer? Yes. Do you lift them up in encouragement? Yes. Do you come beside them in a loving way to lift them up and say, hey, we're going the wrong way? Paul says, I become all things to all people just to win a few. What he's saying is, I'm lifting them up. Now notice this. You'll never see grapes on a georgos, on the tiller of soil. You never find grapes on the root. You don't even find grapes on the vine. The only place that you find grapes are on the branches. That's where the grapes are. And what he's looking for is fruit.